Auburn's battle up front is going to make a major impact on Auburn's defense this season.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. We're dapping it up with the Darrell Dapprich, Montgomery radio legend, hanging out with us. Of course, Auburn has a super crucial, important game against Kentucky this weekend. We'll discuss that as well as some competition on the back end. But Darrell, a discussion we were having earlier about a position battle that will occur this spring on Auburn's defensive front could make or break this defensive front seven this year.
Yeah, you really have focused a lot on the edges and the outside guys, and I think it's time to kind of discuss a little bit of the interior.
Yeah.
I think that there is a battle brewing. I think the nose tackle thing with Dallas Walker coming back kind of solidifies that, right? That's your dude. But I think Autry and Sigler battling for that other interior defensive line position is going to be very, very – and I expect both of them to play a lot of snaps. Sure. But that battle, I think it'll be a battle going into the spring. I think it's a true position battle. It'll be interesting to see who wins that job.
Yeah, I mean, we've had really the theme of the offseason has been production or potential, and this is what that is. Sigler's played a lot of college football, transferring from Arkansas State, and he's taken that step up in competition, and this is a step we've seen defensive front guys take at Auburn and throughout the SEC. But yeah, when you look at Cody Sigler, he's played a ton. Malik Autry has not. But the potential for Malik Autry is sky high. I mean, he's got the frame, he's got the size, he's got the tools, the athleticism, and I think the desire, which is a big part of this, and also familiarity with the system. I don't think that's going to be a make or break thing for Cody Sigler by any stretch of the imagination, but it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt that he's played for DJ Durkin. It doesn't hurt that he's played for Vontrell King-Williams. And so I'm with you. Haven't seen much of any of these sophomores. Malik Autry has a chance to take a major step forward.
Would you put Mathis in that group to battle for that position too?
Absolutely.
Who right now, of course, Mathis, the transfer from LSU, who right now would you say is your backup nose guard or nose tackle? Like if you had to pick one.
Jordan Crawford.
I agree. And I think that could be – look, if Walker didn't come back, boy, would that have been an interesting position battle, right? And if you move some guys around. But Mathis could have something to say about that interior defensive line battle because he has played some in a power four. And then Crawford backing up Walker is key. That gives you such I think, a sense of comfort and security knowing you've got Walker coming back, though. That goes from a major question mark to now depth, right? Well, now you've got depth.
And that leads me to think they had a pretty good feeling about him coming back, at least towards the end part of the portal window. And I think they probably would have been more aggressive. They would have had to have been more aggressive to get another big body guy in there.
And let's say this. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I would say let's throw out this teaser. Auburn may not be done along the defensive line and along edge. We're still looking for some eligibility issues to be eligibility questions to be answered. And then perhaps some loopholes that come about after spring, that although the transfer portal is closed, this new buzzword of ghost transfers could emerge where people could walk on after the season ends, after the school year ends, and Auburn could be adding there as well. And you could probably speak to that more than I can.
Yeah. And Golish kind of hinted at this a little bit. You know, they're prepared. They left a few roster spots open. Pretty much everybody in college football has. And there does seem to be this growing whisper and assumption that there's going to be some movement that does happen despite there being a transfer portal window after spring. I do think you will see some movement with guys unenrolling from a school and maybe popping up somewhere else as a walk-on, and the NIL just takes care of their tuition.
Yep.
There doesn't seem to be anything that can limit that. and I'm curious to see how rampant that could be. But I am expecting. Do I think Auburn will have another player on their front seven that's not on the roster by the time the season starts? Yes. Yes, I do.
People will ask the question just to try to shine a little bit of a light on this and to give a little bit of an answer or perspective. Why would somebody do that after spring when the portal was open and they could have done it then? Why wait? The rosters are pretty much set. Well, the answer to that is when you go through spring ball, you get a pretty good idea where you are in the pecking order as a player, right? You've got the spring game, which now can still be a fertile ground of plucking people by performance by watching that spring game. We thought the transfer portal window being when it was going to alleviate that. But if there's these ghost transfers out there, they can still watch somebody and, they can go, which is sad. But
so ridiculous.
You are a college football player and you're third on the depth chart at Georgia. And you come out of spring and you play 3-4 snaps in the spring game and you're still third on the depth chart at Georgia, you may look and say, I'll go enroll at Kentucky, somewhere else where I can maybe be a backup or a starter. And that goes everywhere across the board. Someone could do that from Auburn and say they want to go to a lesser Power 4 school or Power 4.
Yeah.
That's why it still matters, even though people would say, well, why wouldn't they have done that in February? Why wait because they want to see what their standing is after spring.
Which is, it seemed pretty unanimous among coaches that they wanted that spring window to go away because of this, because they want to treat spring like spring has always been treated, where you can actually have position battles and build your depth chart and create a pecking order. And everybody kind of learned what their role is in the offseason. And then so when fall rolls around, you can get ready for the season. And if this is rampant and it's something that a lot of coaches and front office members, which feels ridiculous to say, but that's a thing in college athletics, just curious to see what that looks like.
The only solution would be, I can't stop you from unenrolling from run school. I can't stop you from enrolling in another. I can't stop you from getting paid NIL, but I can stop you from being eligible. You have to sit out a year. If you do it outside of the window, then you have to sit out a year. That's what they need to try to legislate and put in.
But as of right now, that is not the rule.
Correct. By God, if it becomes rampant, you got to adjust on the fly and do something.
We'll see. And a lot of that's speculation, but that does seem to be a growing discussion for sure.
Just in case, people that watch and listen to this show, the everydayers, so they're not shocked if that happens come May, come June. They'll be a little bit in the loop.
Yeah, do you agree with that? There's going to be a relevant player in Auburn's front seven that is not currently on the roster when the season starts. Absolutely. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was another receiver too. Interesting. So there you go.
Yep.
There you go. Take that for what it's worth. Okay, I think we agree on the starters in the two deep.
We do.
Going into spring.
Yeah.
Will we agree on that at corner? Seems like there's four guys. There's four guys.
This is where we disagree.
What is the pecking order?
Yeah.
That's next. Right here on Locked on Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at 5 Hour Energy.
Oh, long time. No.
I know they're back.
Yeah.
They're back. 5 Hour Energy. They've got their flavor draft where we're looking at every aspect of the draft to let you know which tasty flavors are the best and which ones might be sleepers. And of course, the board set, the flavors are ready. I've said this before on this show.
Is there a new one? There has to be a new one.
There's lots. There's so many flavors.
Yeah.
Grape is number one on this show.
I like something cherry flavored. I am a cherry diehard. Anything cherry pie, cherry candy, cherry soda. I am a cherry freak. So if anything cherry, sign me up. 5 Hour. Let's go.
Darrell Cherry Freak Dapprich is his name. They've got so many flavors. Check them out at 5hourenergy.com. Also, you can get them at 5hourenergy.com or online at Amazon. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. FanDuel liked the Auburn Tigers earlier in the week. Don't like them as much now. I'm assuming they don't have the basketball lineup for Kentucky yet, but They do have Auburn's odds to make the NCAA tournament. The field of 68. They are favored to make it, yes, at -128, no at +100. So pretty close line there, that was there several weeks ago. And then we won a few and they took that off. Might stay up for the rest of the season now. We'll see. You can get in on the action at FanDuel.com. And also you can enter yourself to win their NBA Finals sweepstakes. Just use your profit boost on an NBA future pick and get entered for a chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. The pecking order at corner, I think, is absolutely fascinating. And some of this has to do when you talk about the defensive backfield at Auburn in general. It's tricky because so many of these guys can play multiple positions. And it's just going to kind of be some mixing and matching. And it might change from snap to snap, might change from game to game plan to game plan. But if we take a guess going into it, to me, I think there's 4 guys in that top tier of corner. And it's just like, what order are they going to go in? Andre Jordan Jr., the transfer from UCLA, Rayshawn Pleasant. Does Champ Anthony play outside? I think there could be some speculation there. My guess is no, but I think he could. Shamar Arnaud and then Blake Woodby. I think those are your 4 guys. There's other corners, but I think those are your 4 guys that are going to rotate. And Coach DVD talked about it. You know, there's going to be a rotation, which you and I talked about that a ton as far as like, what does that look like going last season? And we saw it some. I think Andre Jordan Jr. and Shamar Arnaud, from an NIL standpoint, they are well compensated to be here. And it doesn't mean everything, but I do think when you talk about a starting point, I think those will be the guys that start at corner when spring begins. You're going to be very pro Rayshawn Pleasant, which I'm not going to push back on, but I do think he's 3rd, and then I think Blake would be 4th.
Man, I am so glad that you brought up the NIL piece of this, because this was one of the biggest things I was afraid of when you start talking about NIL compensation. Here's the comparison.
Yes.
You go out in free agency in the NFL, and you get you a starting left tackle that's a 10-year veteran that you pay a lot of money for.
Sure.
Then the draft comes along, and you're in summer camp, and the guy you drafted in the 2nd round is whooping his tail in practice. But guess what? The 2nd round draft pick that's playing better than the high-priced free agent doesn't get to start because you're weighing the compensation and the value of what money and you've invested over that. And that absolutely sucks. And I hate that. And I hope it doesn't trickle down to college football, because if Arnaud starts over Pleasant because of NIL valuation, and Pleasant, who has had some equity that he's built here at Auburn and has a tape that and has a known commodity with DJ Durkin, looks better, makes plays in practice, and is your 3rd corner because of NIL valuation, then I would be extremely disappointed in this coaching staff. I know that's reality. It's the world we live in.
No, I think the perfect example of this, I forgot his name. That's what I was typing. If y'all heard me typing, Matt Flynn, back up to Aaron Rodgers forever, go with the Green Bay Packers. They sit Rodgers for a few games. Matt Flynn was unbelievable. He gets traded. I don't know if he was a free agent or if he got traded, but he ends up with the Seattle Seahawks. They paid him a ton of money at the time. They draft Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was too good to keep off the field, and he was making like 4th, 5th round money. And Matt Flynn was making, fresh free agent QB money, and he was sitting on the bench. And that was kind of one of those things where, like, wow, Russell must have been way better than Matt Flynn to get that job. Because if it's a tie, it's probably going to go to the guy.
I don't mind that. If it's a tie, it's a tie, I don't care. And it's amazing. There's an example for you that's even closer to home, albeit through injury, because Drew Bledsoe was the bonus baby and the high-priced free agent and the guy that they went out and got. And then Brady, who was the unheralded, lower compensated guy, gets in because of injury and then never relinquishes the job.
Yeah.
There's examples of that all over the place. I don't want that to trickle down into college football, and I dang sure don't want it to trickle down when we're talking about
it already has.
That has 4 losing seasons. True, all things being equal, or even if it's close, I get it. But my prediction is I think Pleasant wins that job. I think Pleasant will
over who?
Arno. I think Jordan, yes, and then I think he beats out Arno.
Got it. I think those 3 guys all play 100%. Fascinating to see what the battles look like. I think there's a better chance Arno plays and starts next to Pleasant than Andre Jordan Jr.
I just love Jordan's experience and his tape. He's played more snaps than Arno.
No question.
More experience.
No question
and he's
about
not playing in the soft Pac-12 anymore. He played in the Big Ten.
Played in the Big Ten.
Yep.
Was a number 2 corner.
Yep.
And I think Auburn has a bunch of number 2 corners.
And that's okay. That's okay, as long as there's not a significant drop-off between both number 2 corners. Like if you say, okay, we don't really have a true number 1, this guy's a number 2, and you would say, well, by default, wouldn't they make him number 1? No, because I think to be considered a number 1 corner, you still have to play to a certain level of expectation, right? Mm-hmm. So, I think Auburn had 2 number 1 corners last year, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yes.
One was better than the other, but still
good.
Yeah. Yes. So there may be 3 number 2s right now.
There might be I kind of wonder, and I can't wait to see Blake Woodby and hear about what he does this spring. But the gap from 1 to 4 may not be that much. Now
that's significant though.
It's good.
It's good as long as they're all good.
We need one of these ceilings to pop though.
Yes.
I feel good about the floor. We need one of those 4 to just really shoot up.
And I think the most likely candidate to break that glass ceiling would be Arno. I think
100% agree.
He has the highest ceiling. Pleasant, I think, has the highest. Well, Jordan, I think, has the highest floor.
Ooh, who does have the highest floor of the 4 corners?
I'd say Jordan because of the known commodity. I know that Pleasant's enough
because of the snaps.
Yeah, the snaps. Yep.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Do you want to say Pleasant for that?
I did, and then I changed.
I don't think it's a bad answer. If you would have said it,
I think Jordan because the number of snaps. If Jordan played those number of snaps in a watered down Pac-12 3 years ago, I would have a whole different take on that.
I also like that he didn't start at the beginning of the year, and then when they were changing things up because of the turmoil of that program, they changed and he took advantage of it, and then they couldn't take him off the field. Like, I do like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So take that for what it's worth. But yeah, I think all 4 of those guys are going to play for sure. Scrap Richardson and Gavin Jenkins, I think, are interesting.
So
I don't know if they're really in the plans for this year, but I do think they're interesting.
The Chattanooga kid.
Kamari Todd. I think he's more of a nickel. That's what he did at Chattanooga.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Middle of the field defender. So we'll see if they put him at nickel. I mean, he's athletic enough. I think they can put him outside, but he was an interior guy, nickel and safety, mainly nickel at Chattanooga. So massive weekend for Stephen Pearl. I mean, brutal loss a few days ago. Fascinating to see what the jungle looks like tomorrow night. That's next right here on Locked On Auburn.
I'm Clea Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. It was a heavyweight showdown between number 3 South Carolina and number 7 LSU, and the Gamecocks rose to the occasion. South Carolina secured a hard-fought 79-72 victory to stay atop the SEC standings, using a balanced offensive attack to outlast the Tigers. Tessa Johnson led the way with 21 points, while Raven Johnson added 19. Medina Okot dominated the paint with a double-double, finishing with 12 points and 17 rebounds, while Joyce Edwards chipped in 10 points to round out the scoring. With the statement win, the Gamecocks now turn their attention to a road matchup at number 23 Alabama on Thursday. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts that same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
All right, welcome back into Locked on Auburn. Final few minutes here. Auburn hosts Kentucky, Darrell, in a game where the season is absolutely on the line. If you want to make the postseason, winning this game would go a long, long way. I don't think losing it kills it for you, but it definitely makes you got to go 3-1 to finish the season if you lose on Saturday.
You take a lot of pressure off yourself by getting that one out of the way, like what I would have thought Wednesday night, because then you only had to win 2 more. Right. You get that one Saturday. Now you say, okay, I only need to win 2 of the last 4, right? And that's very doable. But I thought Wednesday night was going to be doable, and then Auburn dug itself a horrific hole. Give them credit in the character and the fight to come all the way back, stretch that to 7. Still shocked as I laid my head on the pillow that night and said, how did Mississippi State emotionally come back from that and not fold? And guess what? Didn't they hit like 6 of their last the run that they went on in the last 2 minutes was ungodly after giving away a lead like that. I didn't think they had that mental
hats off to their emotional toughness. I mean,
because I would have thought they were done after that. You blow an 18-point lead, but of course the same thing happened at Texas A&M. They gave up a big, or at Auburn when Texas A&M gave up that big lead, and then they still found a way. Of course, I don't think Auburn took a 7-point lead late. They blew a lead, then A&M. So anyway, long story short, yes, you got to get this one. It also is a resume builder. Kentucky will be ranked. They won't be ranked if Auburn beats them, I think, come out next poll next week, because they lost to Georgia midweek.
Right.
And that's another thing that kind of concerns me, Zach. I'm one of those weird dudes that goes, I almost wish Kentucky would have beat Georgia on their home floor and been a little bit more sky high coming to this game. Now they're going to feel some urgency. They're going to feel some angriness.
You said that about somebody a few weeks ago, and you were right. Was it Alabama, maybe?
Yes, they beat Texas A&M. Yeah. So anyway, I just think that I don't know. I mean, it's a must win. I know that we said Mississippi State was a must win, but this is even more of one, because you win this and it's another resume builder. It looks good. Oh, they beat Kentucky, they beat Arkansas, they beat North Carolina State, they beat St. John's, they beat Florida. I mean, those are good wins, and that'll help go a long way. And then you just kind of reset the season, recalibrate those last 4, just try to get 2 of those last 4. You could feasibly get 3 of those last 4, though. I mean, you could. Oklahoma, LSU, and Ole Miss ain't world beaters, and you can go to Coleman and beat Alabama. They did it last year, albeit with a Final Four team, and Alabama seems to have figured it out. So, they're still – but sadly –
that Alabama game against Arkansas was crazy.
It was. Sadly, I don't ever like to throw in the towel or feel like something's pronounced something DOA. If they lose to Kentucky Saturday, I just am ready to punt and say I don't think they're going to the tournament. That's how big I think it is.
Yeah, I think emotionally, like, this is a team that need to have somebody step up and say, like, look, this isn't going well. It's not going well at all. But we can change it. We can change it. One game can change it, especially at this point in the season when you're so, like, I mean, it's semantics, but like whether you're on the bubble or you're just off of it, regardless, your season's in limbo, whatever, however you want to describe it, your season's in limbo. So have some pride. Like, I think Auburn's got way more to play for on Saturday than Kentucky does. And if you let them come into your house when you have more to play for than they do, and you let them come in and win, there's an argument for you don't deserve to be.
No. And just 3 weeks ago, we were talking about Auburn trending towards a number 6 seed. And right now you see a lot of 9s. And now let's make no mistake about it. Who gives a flip if you're an 8 or a 9? It's just what color jersey you wear. And they look good in the orange anyway. So yeah, you're playing 8. 8's playing 9. So what does it matter? You want to stay out of the 11, 12 play-in kind of crap too. So win Saturday. Build on that, come back, go to Oklahoma, try to beat them on the road, and then start getting stuff rolling a little bit.
Yep. We'll see.
But listen, the crowd has got to play a part. It cannot be apathetic. You cannot not show up. Look, I am making a plea. If you are a season ticket holder or you are a big booster and you are disgusted with this team and you've given up on this team and you don't feel like going Saturday on 7:30 at night to the game, I get it. Give your tickets to somebody that really, really wants to go, that'll be loud, that is a diehard. And students, listen to me. Put your ear to the speaker. You have got to be as loud, as crazy, as volatile, as chaotic as you've been all year Saturday. And no orange seats. Auburn's basketball team needs the jungle, needs the home field that is Neville Saturday. Show out, please.
It's a challenge issued by Darrell Dapprich. I love it.
And by the way, here's some good news. You ready for this?
Yes.
Here's some good news. I don't know if this is a trend, if this is a coincidence, but it's facts.
Okay.
Auburn has not lost at home when Darrell Dapprich is in attendance.
And you'll be there Saturday.
I will be there Saturday. They have lost 3 home games this year. Guess where Darrell Dapprich was?
Not there.
Sick or at a family function. I've missed 3 home games. 2 I was sick, and 1 I was at a family function that I hadn't go to, and they lost every single one of those games. And they've won every one when I've been in the house. Good trend. Karma. Let's go.
Which non-home games have you been to? Just Arizona?
Well, I went to the exhibition, Birmingham, against Oklahoma State.
So you're 0-2 when you go there, not in Neville this year.
Correct.
So go to the home ones.
I won't go to. I don't think. I mean, I will try to go to the SEC tournament, and I will. I'm going to go ahead right now and say that if this team puts in the work to get to the tournament, so will Darrell Dapprich. I will find if it's within driving distance. I will drive to the first round.
Yeah,
wherever it is.
We flew you to the Final Four last year. So.
Incredible experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, Darrell, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
Right here, Wednesdays and Fridays. Obviously, I just mentioned it. Saturday, Neville. We'll be doing a little live show right from Neville. I'll jump on halftime at the Barncast. And then Sunday night, we'll have a lot to talk about for the week that was in Auburn sports, 8 o'clock as well, live at the Barncast.
Please like the video. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked on Auburn.